Absolutely mental.
In my mid-20s when in this photograph, and you see my little lathe I had back in the day and my Chinese milling machine, and I spent nearly 2 years painstakingly building this model radial engine from scratch, just from these sketches here, you see. So these sketches, these napkin sketches of the parts, no CAD, just all done by hand and idea. And then these are some of the spare parts I had left over, which I've put on display for people to appreciate the work involved. And then the net result was this. After 2 years of hard work, I built that. And then what came from this engine was a model engine, 350cc, so it's no toy. And this engine actually spawned the concept of Rotec Aerosport today, which is the design and manufacture of light radial aircraft engines for enthusiasts and home builders. And it came as a direct response to me building this model engine, which spawned into Rotec today. Look at that, right?
Yep.
Okay, now come with me. Take a look at the style of the heads and the architecture of the engine. You got all that, right?
Yep.
See all that? Right, now come with me. You see, it's the same. It's the same. It's identical. I mean, we've literally followed the same design philosophy. This engine and the one we just ran then, the model. It's the same design. Now, it's more complex. Obviously, there's more going on in this engine, but you can see the basic design of the engine is the same.
Tell us about the plane, Paul.
So this is called a Bowers Flybaby. I got this plane in 2005 on a deal. I built the black Kitfox, but this one I assembled and bought in as a project from the States, and then I re-engined it with my radial, which is what my company produces. I pretty much learnt to fly in this plane in 2005 through to 2006. showed you this before, but this is a replica Formula One car I'm building. So this here is just the body work, and I'll take my molds off that. But basically, this is the inner body, and the side pods hasn't got the rear wing or the front wing, but when it's finished, it's going to look like that. So that's the iconic Williams FW11B from 1987. Nigel Mansell used to drive that car. And some of the mechanics I've already started on here. So this is the rear end of the car. So that'll go, so you've got all your rear suspension. This is a Hayabusa motorcycle engine with the turbocharger that I built myself. You can see the turbo there. So all that whole induction system is all been built by me. So it's pretty much ready to finish off and stick in the car. But so I got the mechanics to this point, the rear end, which is the bulk of the car, really mechanically, and then I started working on the body work.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so come around here, see how it all works. That's a Hayabusa 1300cc motorcycle engine. These are one of the most powerful bike engines, and I built the turbocharger system for it, made all this manifold here, set it on the frame. So it's got the 6-speed sequential gearbox and chain drive going to the rear end, where I've got a Honda differential in there. So I've taken a limited slip diff out of a Honda, and I've taken the sprocket off, redesigned all that. So I've got and I'll put a jam tin around that, so it can hold all the oil. But that's actually a limited slip diff. And then I've taken these Honda drive shafts, which would have been off the front drive shafts of a Honda Civic, and I've cut and shut them and used them on the rear. The brakes I built, all the whole uprights and all that's all been CNC machined.
Fucking unbelievable.
It took me about 6 months to carve out. So the idea of this is what's called a pattern, and then the molds will come off the pattern. So this is solid, right? This is basically made of solid foam, and so once I take my molds off, then I can make the skins and the shells, which will cover all this, you see.
Sheesh.
All Formula tyres are 13-inch rims, and they run the stud pattern there, and they have a centre lock nut. So there's just one nut pulls it down, and that's that nut there, you see.
Yeah, right.
And then
Yep, that's why you do the quick exchange, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then so if we take that off, you'll see behind here. You'll see behind here when I get this off. That's how it goes. You see, that's the inner of that wheel there.
Yep. Crazy.
And you just sort of slap it on there, and you put your wheel on. You're off to go, off to the races.